about is app development. And so what I was first starting to warn everybody of, if it only costs $100, it's probably worth exactly that, $100. Be careful about having to repeat stuff for your customers, but by throwing out a new app all the time. But the other thing that you got to think about, not only on app software, but any other software as well, if they're touting the features of their product and they have pages and pages of features, but they have zero actual images of the back end or showing you what it actually looks like to go through the product, and then especially app development stuff, if they don't actually provide you with pictures of the app, the back end of the app, or other example apps that they've built, I kind of wonder, what the quality of it is, because otherwise they'd be touting that right and left. Now, I understand if it's a new business, they don't have that many examples, but if you're launching a big promo to everybody, a one-time fee, or trying to push it out there, I'd at least have one pristine example of an app that we can go look at it, or a product and go, wow, that's amazing. I am all over that. I will pay $100 in my sleep for that. And then you give them the money. But anytime, all those new app, $100 for building the app, it's just, I think, just wrapping your website for the most part with a couple extra features, and they don't actually have any examples of anything. So I always, and that's just me, I always find that that's kind of a red flag. I don't know does everybody else kind of see that as well? I mean, I see it a lot where they don't even have a picture.
Well, I've actually used some of these things to build apps, and what you get for your $100 is $100 worth of value if you're lucky. So with me, it just keeps coming back to the same thing. I don't see the benefit to a Brilliant Directory website to have an app. I thought I did until I looked into it further and decided no. I mean, first off, here's the thing that people don't get, and nobody wants to admit this, but most directory sites, crucify me if you want to, hardly anybody uses them. Okay, very few people get any traffic, any real engagement, people depending on it every day to help them with their business. Are there some? Yes. Are there many? No. There's just not many.
Well, and especially for the long term, I always go back, thinking of myself on this. I download apps all the time. And I'm like, that looks promising, or that's a cool feature. I download it. And then kind of like you're saying, Frank, I never use it, or it ends up being more of a bother to maneuver around, or I don't use it, and it ends up being in the waste pile. When I go into cleanup mode, those depart really fast. And so that's what I think on an app for a niche site, unless it's got some really unique functionality, it's probably going to be one of those apps people delete,
Yeah,
even if they did download it.
I'm not trying to be negative. That's really, it comes across as negative because it's a negative comment, but I'm just stating a fact. If it's negative in its truth, well, I'm not responsible for that. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful, seriously.
I've had buyer's remorse too often than I'd like to admit, just trying things out, purchasing them, and what do I get back from it,
Right. So let me go down to the next things. We kind of talked about apps there real quick. I mean, that we kind of did a whole discussion on that on another webinar, but we can save that for another one potentially in the future, because it will always come up. It comes up about once every 2 weeks, and have the discussion all over again. But let's go down to this one. Randy's asking, anybody know how to make the width of the search box?
Wait. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan.
Sure.
Ryan.
Yes.
One thing though, think about this. If it was really going to be such a tremendous benefit to the Brilliant Directories platform, don't you think BD would have built one and tried to sell it to everybody by now?
That also is valid.
Thank you.
The answer, man of life. Actually, the question, man of life. Now that was a great question.
You have the answers too.
Yeah, they have the answers. All right, so Randy's asking, anybody know how to make the width of the search boxes wider and center to fit within the white space better? Was that?
Ryan does.
I maybe do. Let's do it. Randy, this is for you. I know you're not on the call, but you should be, and I'll play this for you later. All right, so I'm logged in, and Frank, I'm just going to use your site since I'm here.
Okay.
So just to show everybody that's at, so when what he's asking for is the keyword search on the homepage. So I don't remember, whatever you have on your homepage, it's going to change here for a second, Frank, just so I can demo this one. What you want to do is go into settings and design settings, and then the first tab here, as soon as it loads, is going to be the setup for this and where you find that. It's in the design settings in the main website design. And I take that back. Homepage layout. There we go. Homepage search settings. And this is where you change the search type right here. So Frankie has keyword and location. What did he say he had? That's just keyword. So we're gonna you can change anything you want. He's got keyword only search, so I'm gonna change it to that just for the demo. But you can have any type of search that you want. You can also do maps if you have the clickable maps add-ons or the VIP that is also included. Then you can do not only just, this is all listing searches. So if you want to have listings, if you're more functional based or niche down to a particular post type, let's say you're an event site or a job site, you may want event search or job search or any other post type that you focus on and have that on your main page. And then there's a couple additional options. There's a hero message with link. And basically what that is, it's just a picture with a button there that goes to something else. So you're basically a call to action to go somewhere else instead of actually searching. And then a BD also has some amendment code where you can put 2 links on there side by side, and that's a common one with the and I'll just show this real quick on the demo Bootstrap. If you guys have never seen that, demobootstrap.com has some example themes that you can use when you're initially setting up your directory. And so the classifieds add theme is the example of one of those buttons. So this one's the double button. It's literally just a hero section with an image and some buttons. There's no search on that at all. So that's what that is. And then you can hide the search module. So it's just an image and nothing there. You can hide the entire section. So it basically, if you did that, it would basically start like that with your hero banner if you're using the 3-button heroes. Or if you turn that one off, it could start exactly like that. So it's very flexible, but you can remove the entire thing totally. And then the last one is show lead form. And that is, let me go to if you guys go to the lead capture theme, this is the lead capture where it's just a picture with the actual lead form. So if yours is focused on maybe the handyman, or you're doing, scheduling for services for local installers, you'd maybe want to have the lead right away, where somebody just comes here knowing they're going to hire somebody, and they go ahead and look for a lead. So that's the lead management one, what that looks like. So his question is for the keyword search. So I'm going to go to that and I'm going to save changes, and then we'll show you what that one looks like. So again, this one's just a key only. And you notice when we go to here, it is not in the center of the page. It's on the left. And so why would you have it on the left by center? It's because all these pictures are different. Maybe you have, and here's a great example. You wouldn't want this one on the left where Frank has it, because the form would be covering up his face, and then you'd see a white wall and a face covered with the form. So that wouldn't work. You want to make sure that you have it on the right side. So it depends on what photo you have in here. His question is he wants it centered. So you go back to the same page. It says home page alignment. And then you can go to center, and then we'll save that, and then we'll refresh that. And now this is going to be in the center. Now, theoretically, go back. There we go. Sometimes you have to go back, and it has to finish the little saving process. Just throw this out there. Sometimes when you make adjustments, you may need to save the changes again. So save it twice to kind of kick in the cache. Or you can hit the refresh cache here, or if you're on your actual page, hit shift button, hold the shift button down and hit the recycle there, and that'll refresh your browser. So shift and then the reload, and that'll kind of refresh your page as well. So now it's in the center, but you notice, hey, I'm using a lot of vertical. It also, let's say I wanted it wider. Here's one way to make it wider. So this is kind of a poor man's effort on this one. If it's vertical, all you have to do to make it wider is change it to horizontal. And basically what that does is it unstacks it. So if you were doing a top level category and a sub level category and a sub level category, normally there'd be 3 search boxes in a row. If you do that horizontal, it'll basically put them side by side so that it stretches out and makes it wider across the page. So that is one way you can do that. If you have the keyword search and you have what do you need, now you see it just went full width, and I didn't have to do anything. So that horizontal is probably what you want to make it go across the whole page. So that's the center. That is the width. But let's say, let me go back to the vertical here. Let's say you're like, nope, I want the vertical. I like the look there. I don't want to do the horizontal to make it go full width. I like the horizontal. Let me do it again. Or sorry, the vertical. But I still want it to be in the vertical format. I just want it to be across the entire page. So there it is. But say you want it stacked, but you want that to go across the page. So in order to do that, there's no setting for that. There's no like a full width thing for that, and you will have to change it. Now there are a couple things where you can change the title width. So for example, main title width. See, it's at 80% right now. If it was at like 40%, I could actually make this kind of word wrap where it'd say search the Vineland and then city guide on the next one, because I'm basically I'm only allowing 40% of the full width to be used for that title. So if that's ever word wrapping, go ahead and check that's at 100% or as far wide as it can to keep it on one line. But that's only for the main title width. That is not the stuff below it. So this is what we're concerned about with that. So in order to do that, you're going to need to go to a little bit of code, but I'll show you where that's at. It's going to be pretty easy. Go to Toolbox and Widget Manager. And now this is the homepage search and its keyword. So you can type, I think, homepage, or I'm just going to type in keyword, and and you can search by that. It'll filter all the widgets that have the keyword. And so you'll be looking for homepage search and keyword search, right? So that's homepage. There's other searches here. This would be a search module on the sidebar for the keyword search. This is just a global keyword search, again, for a module for the sidebar. This is a homepage search, global keyword search. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know which one that is. I'll just use one of them. If you edit one and it doesn't work, then go change the other one. I think it may be the global, but I'm just going to do keyword search. So what you want to do is go to actions and customize. Actually, sorry, that's not the homepage. Let me try that again. And actually, I'll show you guys this trick in case you guys don't know that that's here. I can figure out which one this is right away. So if you guys are logged in as an admin and you guys click the visit website for your site, it's going to open up. It's going to have this admin toolbar on the side. What you want to do is hit this little search icon with the plus. And what it'll do is it'll basically overlay the widget titles on here so you kind of know what you need to go edit. So right here, it is, as I suspected, it is Bootstrap theme homepage search, keyword search. So it is just keyword. So you can go ahead and hit the minus on that. That'll disappear. That is the one we want to edit. So now when we go back here, it is homepage search, keyword search, and that's the one we need. So hit customize on the actions. And now we're going to go in here and look at what we got here. So anytime you see these column, that's what that stands for, column. In Bootstrap, there are 12 columns inside of the width of the page, and it breaks it down into basically columns of 12. And so whenever you see a column, whatever, of 12, either small, medium, that's just has to do with the size of your screen. And medium is basically for the normal desktop. That'll grab that. So column, medium size screens, 12. That means it's going all the way across. So that means there's a width of something on the site that goes all the way across. But then you notice, well, this green box in here, that's only part of it. So where does that come in? So now you would see here that there's a, for small, it's 12. For column medium, there's a column of 6 here. And that is the one that is only half width. And so I'm going to just change that 6 to a 12. That's literally all I'm doing, changing the 6 to a 12. And let me see if what that did for us. All right, absolutely nothing. Drum roll. Okay. Let me go back in there again. Okay, so there's several blocks in here. So I guess I should have looked at the code here. So this is actually asking for something, and then it says else. That means they're looking for something. Otherwise, make it 6 wide. So again, it's probably whatever functions we have set up for that. It is looking for that. So let me try that. And if I can't get it to work, I'll figure out exactly where it is later when I can mess around with it. It's going to be one of those two. There you go. So as you saw there, I just went, it was in that second section because a lot of these forms have kind of like an if-then statement, depending on what selection you had. It wants to go a certain distance or depending on which section. So I just changed that one to 12, and then after the else, it's like either that one or this one. I changed that one to a 12 as well. And again, now no matter which one of those settings, and I have to go look to see what that setting is, but no matter which one you pick, it is now going to be 12 of 12. So, and it has those edges on there just because that's set up inside of a container. But inside of that, whatever that container it's in, it is the full width of that container where that is inserted. So sometimes people say, well, that's not full width. Well, it's because it's inside a container. And so if you guys are ever inside of a web page, and I'll just kind of show you this, if you just go to and Frank, I'm gonna go delete that back. So I'll just show you guys how to do this. BD is very good because it stores all the main stuff in the back end, so you can kind of delete what you did and go back to normal and not really have to do anything on the widget. So you notice when I edited that widget is now up here at the top. It's in the custom section, and down here are the default widgets. Now, as long as there's nothing else in there other than what you just did that you want, you can literally just delete that one and you're good. It's automatically going to default back to the original code. So there's nothing that you're not going to break the system by deleting it because you've edited it and now you've just like totally wiped it from the system. Just by deleting your widget that you made on the edits, it's automatically going to default back to the original code in there, and nothing will be broken. So there we go. It's back to the original code. So is there any questions on that specifically from anybody?
Well, I just have a general question about that section in general. So remember, like when we went through the list, there was one that said search events, right?
Yep.
So on the homepage, you're only allowed to have like just one. You have to choose one thing from that list, or could you have two sections that did two different things?
So you would have to go in the code and edit that that section to have two.
You could,
let me get to that in a second, Frank. Let me finish my thought on the full width thing real quick, and then I'll go back to you. So if you're on any web page, you can go into the side display settings here, and if you ever want it full width, all you have to do is click that full width, and what that basically does is it gets rid of that side container that we had here on the sides, and it basically makes it go full width. So if you ever wanted to do that on a page, just do it in the display settings full width. That'll get rid of those sidebars. So so your question is, can we have multiples of these? So you'd have to edit that code in here because it's just set up to dynamically replace one or the other.
right.
If you wanted it right here, you'd have to add it into the code. You obviously can add. It's a widget, so you can add a widget here, widget. You could have like 10 search things on the homepage if you wanted.
Right, that was my basic. Because it's just a widget, you could probably have as many as you wanted.
Right. So
ridiculous.
yeah, it would look ridiculous. But so if you ever wanted that, what I'd normally recommend, instead of just having to edit the header code and you have to, it's pretty in depth. What I would do is just pick your baseline widget, like say this one, and then if you're good enough with coders, have a developer do it. I just copy the code for the other search box and put it in next to it. Like,
right.
Make this one instead of the center 6 wide. I'd put it over on the left in a 6 wide, and then just copy the other code in another box over here on the other 6 wide, and then just paste that in there. So So for instance, I would be editing the homepage keyword widget by adding the other one. So I just know whenever I select that homepage keyword widget, it's not just going to be that one anymore because I edited that widget. It's going to have both of them in there. And then all I have to do to get rid of that is just pick a different widget, or pick a different search, and then that goes away.
Yeah, I can see where two could be useful on occasion. Also, what else was good was remember the one with the button for the two buttons. What was that for? The classifieds or
the classifieds,
yeah, that's also good because see, like I had a site one time that when you arrived at the site, the first thing it did was ask you, "Are you a business or a consumer?" And then it sent you in two different directions. So that would be good for that too.
Right. Yeah. And so I don't think he's on the phone call today, but Rich has something like that on his site that we kind of set up that where you can claim his free listing, but he's got podcasters, guests, and vendors for the podcasters.
Right.
So his is kind of set up like that, where we just have, and you could have this on you could put this on the front page where you basically go, well, are you a guest, a podcast, or resource? And then if you're a guest, then you go for him, he goes to the pricing for the guest, right? So then he's got 3 different pages on there for different things. So
right. So go back to the buttons. So where do the other buttons take you?
But they go to the orange pricing for the podcasters, and then
so he has 3 different pricing pages.
Yeah, he's got 3 different pricing. So you basically pick who you are, and then he's got, so that way you don't have to put 9 pricing tables on one page because there's 3 separate. His is a 3-sided marketplace, right? It's not consumer and business.
Right.
It's consumer, business, and then business to business.
Right. Yeah, it's done very nicely.
So shout out to Rich there and how he's got that set up, but it works good. All right, so Randy, do you have any questions on that? If you do, send me a PM or DM, whichever you call it nowadays, and let me know if you have any other questions. I'll post that on there for him. All right, looks like Randy's got 2 questions today. Anybody know how to remove the "what are you looking for" text from the homepage search box? Yeah, so it's a text label. So here's the quickest way to do that, Randy. This is a Randy show today. Let me show you how to do that. So let's just use this. What do you need is actually his question. Oh, what are you looking for? So sometimes, if you guys ever notice, sometimes depending which template you start with, it has different language in there. So it's not always the same. But so here's what do you need? So there's a couple ways to do this. If you're ever wondering where it's at, quick way, just copy that text of whatever you want. Go into the settings and text labels. And this automatically filters out by keyword. So all you have to do is type in "what do you need," and here you go. So not only is it looks like it's in 3 places. It's in side search, step 1, home search, keyword label, and search drop down. So why I recommend normally doing this version, you notice there's 3 areas that have that. So if you don't like it in one area, odds are if you see it in another area, you're going to want to change it there too. So I would just change this to, you see the defaults from "what do you need?" ? This one has semicolon. So you can change whatever you want. Like you can actually delete it and not have anything. So if you just deleted that and saved it, that would go away. And again, so it'd probably be even a smaller box there because that wouldn't be there. And depending on how the code is, it may actually just be a blank spot. So you have to kind of think about that. But I think it will shrink down. But be careful of that. But anyway, so or you could change it to whatever you wanted, and then when you saved it, that text would just appear. So that's one way. I would always recommend that because sometimes it's in multiple spots. So I'm not going to save that. The other way is to do exactly what we said before. Just click the little search button with the plus. And then not only does it highlight the widgets, it also highlights the text label. So anytime you see a yellow item in yellow, that means it's a text label. So this is going to go exactly back to where we were at. It says home search keyword label. You notice, and that's the variable. So that's home search keyword label. So this actually wasn't it. It was this one. So home search keyword label, and that would change that. Now watch what happens. I'm going to close that out. I'm going to click that. If you just click it, it's automatically going to open up your backend to the text label to the exact thing that you need to change. It's literally that easy, and you could remove that. Now, having known what we just shown there, and it was actually a perfect example. If you do it that way, you missed out on the other two items in that database for text labels that also are not correct for what you want. So although everybody likes to do that version because it's quicker, you may end up in the long run get frustrated, because I've seen this all the time where somebody's like, I just changed that. Why did it change back? Or people ask that, or how many of these are there? I keep changing these all over the place. Well, if you just change the word, home, or, whatever other types of things, like specializing in, maybe that's in there a bunch of times. If you see, there you go. So now it's in there twice. So if you would have looked that up, you would have missed one of them. So just do that, change them all, and that will allow you to not miss one. So, any questions on that, Randy? No, nothing. All right. I'm joking, Randy. Just come next week, and you can ask your question. All right. Anyone know how to allow banners that the admin choose to display on the website? I want to run banner ads, but only want to run ads for my members only. Okay, well, that's kind of a bad question, I think, or a confusing question, because only admins can add banner ads, right?
Yeah. I know what she was talking about. Just like I run the banner ads on my homepage. It's just that HTML widget. That's all.
Right, I know, but I don't know what for my members only. So Doris, this is you choose what you're displaying. So maybe the question is, like, if you use AdSense, you're not in control of the ads, right? It's other businesses that are running it. So I guess that's the answer to that question. If you're running some other sort of ad serving script, you're at their mercy of whatever retargeting stuff that they're seeing for your people. So sorry, let me get off that. So let me go back to I'll show you where that's at in terms of the actual settings here. It's going to be in the design settings, and all right, sorry, cancel design settings, leave. All right, so it's going to be so again, if you put AdSense in, it's up to them. If you're doing your own ads, there's a couple different options. You can put in your own script, and again, if it's something that you're controlling, that ad server or the ad space from somewhere else. So for example, I use AdPlug before. Other people have used AdButler, but it's basically where you're controlling the actual ads that are going into that server. Then you're still in control, and you can put whatever local ads for your people that you want. But this is where you go to the settings, design settings, and the banner ad design. And so if you want banner ads on yours, you click yes. And then in each of these different sections, you would add your own code. So let me just use, Frank's got a great generic example of the number 5 brought to you today by the number 5 that's in the extra banner ad.
I did that so I could identify where those things are showing up.
I know, I'm joking. It's actually a great example, but it's generic here, so it works great. So what Frank's saying is he's doing is he's adding the number in there, so he knows when he puts it in there which one he needs to go change out to
but Ryan, I can't find that to display anywhere.
Well, did you add it somewhere? Well, we'll go over that in a second as well. So we'll go do it and see if it's working. So there's a couple different options here. You can use the banner ad image. So if this is for your peeps, for your directory, you basically make the whatever size, and this is dynamic or it's responsive. So this recommends a width of 360 because this is normally for a sidebar. But you make the image whatever it is, or whatever size you want it, and then you simply replace the image. You go and upload the image for the person in your membership. You upload that number, or whatever that image is, replace it, and then that's going to wherever you put that widget code or whatever sidebar you add that widget to. that is going to replace that image with that particular ad. Now that's the first one. You can obviously disable it. So if you have that in a widget and you want to turn one off for now or for time being, you can just disable that. It'll go away, and you don't have to reformat anything. If you want it back on there, for example, let's say they forgot to pay, you disable it, they paid, and now you go back to say use banner image ad, and the number 5 that's sponsoring this will go back up there. And then the third one is use custom embed code. So again, if you have AdSense or whatever, or you have your own server, you would put that embed code right here. And the cool thing about this system is that obviously you got to know where it shows up at, but you don't have to go into the code to fix it or the exact spot. These are already built into the widget. As long as that widget is in a location or a sidebar, that's going to just render that embed code just by you pasting it in here. So that's the cool thing about that. Obviously, you're not limited to the number on here. If you want like extra banner ads 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can do that. You would just need to add that embed code in a particular either custom widget or on a page wherever you want the embed code. And then you just have to manually put it where you want it, as opposed to it just dynamically doing it in the back end. Now I mean, to me, there's no reason that they can't have multiple code stuff. I wish they'd maybe add 6 through 10 or have the ability to add additional things and have it dynamically work. That'd be awesome. But again, there's not that many people that are having that many different types of ads. You run out of real estate before you run out of this stuff normally anyway. So let's go to Frank's question. So hopefully that answered your question there, Doris. You can control anything that you want as long as you're in control of your own stuff. But here's where you do that: add it with images or the code. So Frank's question is, he can't get that or doesn't know. Are you just saying you don't know where you actually put it?
No, I don't know where these like extra banner ad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do they appear?
Okay, well, they don't appear unless you put it somewhere. So let me just show you as examples. Let's go to the let's go to your web page, and I'm going to go to I'm just going to do a random business here. And let me go fix that before I go anywhere. What search you had? Keyword and location, right?
Yeah.
So let me go fix that so I don't totally mess up your site here. All right, so I'm gonna go to your Platinum Resort Rewards, right? So so this is on a member page, member profile page. Okay, and it's starting out with the social share. So let's go to the toolbox sidebar manager.
Wait. What's lower? There may be stuff on there already. Scroll down.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Okay.
So let me back up one. Let me show you how to figure out what sidebar this is. So you can have a different sidebar per membership level. So sometimes it's not just the member profile. You may have made a special one. So I don't see that many special ones. Sometimes people have, so we did make one gold and above. So sometimes you don't know, hey, is this the gold and above, or is it the other one? Now you can go find the membership level and then see where that's at, or you can just do, again, magic plus search bar. It'll tell you what sidebar that is. It'll be down here at the bottom. So this is the gold and above, member profile page gold and above. So that is the one that we're going to want to edit. So we're going to go into edit on there, and you notice whatever we saw on the page is what's going to be over here. Now you notice it has the banner responsive size, and so that was responsive size 5 that we wanted. So I'm just going to type in the word 5. There's the banner responsive size 5. I'm going to put that below the social sidebar, and I'm going to save changes. So now when I hit refresh on this, or I'll close that out, when this refreshes, actually it'll be this one, sorry. So now when it refreshes, it's going to have that number 5 right below the social search bar, and so those extra ones that are the responsive ones or whatever, you actually have to put them somewhere. Make sure that they're showing somewhere. And oh, maybe I didn't save that, or it didn't finish here. Again, this may be one of those cache issues. I'll do that. Interesting. I don't know. So it should be right there now.
Let me look at it on my, since I don't have the caching issue. Let me look at it.
Yeah, but it should be right there. Expect it to see the code real quick.
No, it's not on my page either.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to ask him that, Frank, because that's how you should do it, right? It's in the list. It's below the social sidebar. It's above the that member contact form, and I don't know if you have anything in these other banners, but those aren't showing up either, right? It's just
Yeah,
that and then that.
Yeah, I have like three different banner ads that throw up in a sidebar.
Right.
Like,
But that's how it should do that. Now, sometimes when you don't see those, it's something stupid, but this is you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't do that. But it's the old check the power on the computer. Did you reboot or whatever? You may not actually have the ads turned on. So I know you do, Frank. So this is not the case, but sometimes the reason you're not seeing it is because one, you didn't add the code. Two, it didn't turn it on. So in order for that to be visible, you have to click yes. But and see, you always got to check this stuff. See, I'm doing this on purpose so we can tell what the problem is. See how it says use custom embed code? I forgot to turn it back to use image. So it was trying to use the embed code and there was no embed code, so there was nothing to show. I changed it back to use banner ad. Now I'm going to cross my fingers. We should see a 5 on here when I hit refresh.
I'm not.
And of course, it's not there. All right.
Strange.
Well, I tried. I thought that was it. Try that again. Versus caching. So yeah, Frank, you may want to ask him why that's not showing up.
Yeah, but my next goal is to get all of these. Every place where ads can run, I want something running.
Yeah, well, it makes sense if you have it to want to use it. You want it to work, right? So, yeah, I don't know what that is, but so for everybody, that should show up right there. Those are some gotchas. Make sure that it's on yes. Make sure it's on the right banner ad, and let me just make sure that a decent image. Okay, PNG. Yep, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So, and I throw this out to everybody as well. A lot of times the developers or whatever, I mean, if your system's not working, they can only do that. I mean, I guess the other option too, the reason sometimes it doesn't show up is because you have some other custom stuff on there and they say it's blocking. So, Frank, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back because hopefully they don't do this as easy way out. But just like, oh, you got a custom plugin here that's blocking it. I mean, I don't think that shouldn't do that, but sometimes just be aware that sometimes when you have custom stuff on here, it's easier for them to point the finger at that. Now, the way to do that, and I'll just show you guys how to do this as well.
Ryan,
yeah.
Go to my homepage and click on Parish Sign Company and look what you see.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's a matter of also telling it specific pages that it's supposed to appear on. And you'll notice I got 3 other banner.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? Thank you, Frank. That's another. So it's shown exactly how we think. So thank you very much. So it is on that sidebar, but here's what that is. So thank you for pointing out, Frank. I was like, I just didn't know why it wasn't working. So if we know this Platinum Resort Rewards, I'm going to go into this back end. So this is the tertiary thing. Make sure it's turned on. Make sure it's on the right position for showing embed or image. Make sure that it's actually in the sidebar you're looking for. And then make sure that the sidebar is actually in that listing. So it could be in the sidebar, but it's the wrong sidebar you're looking at. So that's the fourth thing. And then the fifth thing, this is the one we're missing, is that you can also turn off ads for higher memberships. So this is something you can upsell on your higher level plans. If you have a platinum, this is Platinum Resort Rewards. If you have a platinum account, you can say, hey, you're not going to see any banner ads on your listing. And you know what, Frank? I don't know that is the case because I'm seeing banner ads, but hopefully this is. But you can actually do an upsell. So basically, the people that are not paying could see a competitor resort basically on their site as an ad. Whereas if they're a paying member for that other resort, you wouldn't see this resort on that page because they're paid and you turned off the ads on their particular listing. So I'm going to go to the member search results. We're going to look for Platinum Resort in there. We're going to see what kind of actual membership level that one is on. And so just type in there for the membership level. You see they're a platinum member. So we're going to just click on that plan for platinum so we can go look at the settings. And in the actual additional settings, there is show banner ads on listing. It is set at no. So it is going to block those extra banner ads on their listing because we're telling it this is such an Uber premium plan that they're paying extra for. You don't get to see banner ads because you're paying me enough. I don't need banner ads on your site, or you're not going to be able to see competitors. So I'm going to turn this to yes. I'll come back in here and change that in a second, Frank. But I'm going to go ahead and hit yes on that, meaning they can have banner ads. I'm going to go ahead and refresh that page, and then lo and behold, there are the banner ads. So that's a great demo of what that can do for you or what that can afford your customers. And that was the problem.
You can leave it on for now.
You want to leave it on? Okay.
This way I know.
Okay, so that's great. So those are five items. Again, let me just walk through those again.
Why do I have two banner ad scripts running on this page?
What do you mean? These?
Yeah, there's one there and there's one at the very bottom of the page. Same one.
Well, because you have one in the footer, and then this one was added into the page. I think we had talked about that before, but
I just want to change. I just want to make sure they're running two different scripts.
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah.
Right now they're identical.
Well, they're rotating, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
But they're identical right now.
Yeah, but you could change it out.
Right.
So let me go over those one more time. So one, you need to make sure you know what sidebar these are going to go in to make sure you're editing the right one. Two, you need to make sure that sidebar that you're editing is actually showing up in the location that you want, right? So if you're editing this sidebar, but it doesn't show up on the other ones aren't selected properly, you'll want to change that. 3, you want to make sure that you have it turned on for the banner ads. 4, you want to make sure you have the right selection, either image or embed code. And then 5, you want to make sure that you're actually not hiding the banner ads on the listing. And let me go show you where you actually pick that sidebar. So it's in the profile. Actually, it's in the general. General tab, it says profile page sidebar. So this is where we said gold and above. Again, that's a modified one. If you was just using the normal one, it would be that. So if you have multiple sidebars, you may want to add all those ads to both one of them or one or the other, but make sure that membership level in the general tab has the appropriate sidebar that you want to put the ad. So great question, Doris. Any other questions on that? All right.
I like the next question. Matter of fact, I had originally told him to contact you, and I.
Hey Frank, you're a little quiet. I don't know why. I got my volume up, but you went quiet there.
Now.
Yeah, there we go.
The next question, I had put him to contact you until I realized that he had video chat, and I deleted it because I wasn't sure you had a video chat two-way solution.
Well, let me look at that video. Poseidon. All right, so everybody have integrated third-party video chat. Two-way secured community, and then a payment option. I'll have to think about that. Obviously, when you're talking, there's a lot of video chat options, but the real kicker there is the paid option, and so that's really where it comes in on where you can pay for it. And it also kind of depends on whether it's like an app or a room where you just charge for it, I guess. Let me see. This is go to this one. This one may potentially work. It has client meetings, and this one I just noticed from his the question there from Saba. I don't actually know how to say that. This one's kind of set up for point-to-point ones. It's got an API capability, and it's more for professional stuff that has security. So financial advisors, healthcare practitioners, and stuff like that. And what this is basically video meetings where you can have that for co-browsing, whiteboarding, and then it also has a capability to pay for it. And so this one I think may be something that would be good. It's also a persistent meeting room. And the cool thing about Vectera is that you can, if you have a client and you have a room set up, you can basically join in there, and then all your stuff the next time that you meet up is exactly where you left it. So you don't have to make a webinar room or a Zoom room, and everything kind of goes away. This has persistent per client storage, so that you just jump back into the room. It's kind of like I've done this before. If you're doing a big project and you kind of have at an office building or something, and you kind of reserve the space, and you have like a couple days where you're going to do a focus session, and everybody leaves their crap on the table exactly where it was at, and then you go to lunch, or you come back the next day, and then your crap is still on the table exactly where you left it. That's basically what this is. It allows you to do, and you can make notes and stuff on there as well. And then it has kind of like we were talking about with Book Like a Boss last week. It integrates with your G Suite, Office 365, and iCloud with the meetings, and then and you can access it wherever you're at. And then I believe you can do recordings and charge for that as well. So that may be a good solution, but I think this is a little bit on the pricier side just because it has all that stuff. Let me double check. Or maybe it's not. So unlimited meeting rooms, unlimited whiteboarding, unlimited bandwidth, white labeling, and 10 gigs of cloud storage for $8 a month. Which is weird. It has dollar signs and then a comma, which they don't know where they're actually located, either Europe or the US. I'm not sure. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so that's one I recommend that may work out for you. The other thing, I know John's not here, but the other one John normally touts and may work for this as well is it's called the iSlick program. And let me just pull it up here for you guys. And I'd potentially thought about using this at some point, but what it basically is it's a video conferencing solution where you basically do live broadcasting, and you can have scheduled stuff or video sessions or webinars where people can come join in. And it's also on mobile where you can add stuff in, but it has, let me just find one for example. But what it does is it basically, you have a room and people pay for your time. And so it's basically a per minute payment setup. And I'll just go into here as an example, but you can kind of, it has a chat room built in. You can do like total donations, where they send you certain money for time, or you can set up your own schedule and then people join in or book your time, and then they basically pay per minute. So you can kind of set it up as a per minute, focus sessions, and you can have multiple people jump in at the same time. So if you're doing a consult call and it's just kind of an open forum, it's $1 a minute for anybody who joins. So if 100 people are in the room watching you, you're getting $100 a minute. And they're only paying $1 a minute per person. So you can potentially make the money and not have to, charge everybody, $20 an hour or $40 an hour, because you're breaking it up into smaller payments because you're basically teaching multiple people. So that's another one that could be a game changer if you just want to do like consulting or per minute charges. This is kind of set up to do that. All right, Randy, third question. I have a unique situation where I need to clone the event section to have two separate unique sections, events and sales events. Okay, so the question here is, and I'll just throw out a couple things for you guys. You can clone any type of events on your back end. You just have to go to the content, manage posts, and then the cloning of, I'm sorry, not edit post settings, not manage posts. So it comes set with video property. So here's events on Frank's, for example. So in order to clone it, literally all you have to do is go actions and clone, and you can have a separate event type that you can start to edit. And so what I always recommend is, before anybody starts really dorking around or messing up at the default one, if you're going to do a whole ton of changes, I would never edit the original post type. I would always kind of just leave the base one alone as is, so you can kind of go back and clone it as it started at any time in the future if you wanted. And you can rename it to events old if you wanted. Just rename the old one after you make a clone, and then change the clone back to event, if that makes sense. So you could clone this, call it, it would come up with a copy of event or whatever, and then that's unique. And then you change this one to events dash old and event old, and then go into your one you just cloned, and then rename that one event and events. And so now you kind of have the original one and then your clone, and then you can go edit to your heart's content on that one. And then when you eventually screw it up, you can go, let me get, just kidding, delete, and then that one's gone, and then you still have the original one back in there for you to clone off from again. So that's just my input to everybody here watching. I'd always do that, and then you can go ahead and change everything. Now, you'll notice if you clone an event, it'll say copy of event, but it's going to use the exact same field form. It'll say event fields. So you can do the same thing for the forms. Once you clone your post type, I would also go to event fields. So now we're going to toolbox and form manager. Now I would find your events fields, your event form, and I would clone that and make a new clone of the form. And I think we went over this last week. I just want to show you where that is at in here as well. If you want to clone that, there's not in the actions for what reason, I don't know, but you have to go into customize, and then change anything in there, I always just go to the first one, hit a space bar, and then hit save changes. Just do something. It needs to have some sort of change in order to make it a custom form, basically. So hit a space bar, hit save changes. It's going to go through a pop-up, and you hit save changes again. And then after you do that, it's going to show up in your custom forms up here. It won't be in the default. It'll be in the custom up here. And then once you are customize that form, then you edit that form that you just did, and now there's this new box that'll show up here, actions, and now there's an actions and clone button there. So then you do that, and then you name it something else. Let's say it's event fields 2 or whatever you want to call it, event fields new, whatever you name that. You have to have a new system name. And then now that you've made that new form and you kind of left the old one alone again, now go back to that on edit post settings, and then when you edit this event type, it's basically asking you which form you want to use. Now you just go in here and you pick that custom form that you made that was event fields 2 or new, whatever you did. Pick that new one from there, and now you can go mess around in that form, messing around in a new post type, and then you still have the old original form and the old original post type. In case you mess anything up with either the form or the post type, you can kind of go back and start anew. So that's kind of how you set up those post types and then set up the forms. And I'd always recommend whenever you're cloning those that you do that before you start messing around. Does that make sense to everybody, or anybody have any questions on that? Okay, the next question on here is the email system. So does anybody have any questions? I'll just throw this out there as a general email question or setup, or anybody have any questions on templates or the system or how it works from anybody? Okay. So what I'll just talk real quick about the BD email system. It's set up as a shared server on a SendGrid account, so there's a shared SendGrid account. There's oops, sorry, Mark, I just turned your audio off there, so I was getting some feedback. So what happens on the shared SendGrid is there's a shared IP. And so anybody who sends out stuff from the system kind of gets the reputation of everybody else on that shared SendGrid. Now, I think they have a bunch of different IPs and a bunch of different accounts because they have tens of thousands of directories, and they have multiple SendGrid accounts. But the bottom line is, it's unless you're paying for a separate shared SendGrid account, you are on the same one with everybody else. So what happens is your reputation is based on that person as well. So a lot of times, and it's not the fault of BD, just a lot of times those aren't the cleanest IPs or the best reputation on that SendGrid IP, because somebody on that shared system potentially was spamming or doing cold emailing, or just somebody flagged it as spam. And so I don't even know how to pinpoint this for anybody, and it's hit or miss. I know some people say it's fine, other people say there's always getting blocked. But the bottom line is sometimes it will go into the Gmail spam folder, or it'll go into a blocked section by other people. And so I think it's kind of intuitive on anybody sending it out in their templates or in their initial welcome email is to remind everybody, hey, thank you for signing up. We just sent you an email. It looks like this. It's from this email address. Go check your spam, and if it's in there, please whitelist our domain so you can get all of the rest of our transactional emails. And you're basically training that SendGrid IP to be, I guess, most favored nation, most favored IP status, because it keeps getting whitelisted by people, and they allow it in there. They learn, and it adapts and kind of self-critiques a little bit to say that it's not spam. So I think it's a little bit on your part for your membership and your directory to tell your people that. And know where it's coming from so they can whitelist it. Because otherwise you're going to end up like this, where people are basically saying, I didn't get the stuff, or I'm not getting your responses. And it's probably because they did not whitelist it, or they weren't looking for it to kind of clean it up. Now, it's not going to be all the time. Now, some ways around that, if you are you're paying for your own account, you can go into the general settings and the integrations, and you notice here, how do you want to connect to SendGrid? You can use the default system, again, that shared one, or you can use your username or password or your API key with SendGrid. So you can buy your own SendGrid API key and have your own kind of clean IP from SendGrid. That's you and yours. Enter that API key, and so you're paying for that, but you're basically doing the trade-off of the freebie, the shared SendGrid that works, right? They may have to go find the spam, or may not work 100%, but it's free, right? Or you can go pay for your own SendGrid IP, put in your API key, and then you're not only your own IP, so it's kind of clear and clean, but you also have no limit on the transactional or send emails from here as well. And so you kind of have more carte blanche and permission and settings to kind of do whatever email marketing you want from within BD. So those are the kind of trade-offs. But obviously, if you don't do that, you're kind of at the whim of that IP, that shared one that you're just using from BD. And so that's what Peter's talking about here for the dedicated SendGrid account. Okay. And then obviously you can use other vendors like MailChimp or GetResponse or Aweber or whatever. And you can just have transactional emails go through your BD system, and then just do your marketing emails, like the ones that you want to get your sales message across. Let's say they come in here and they sign up for your account, but then you export all of those people. So again, I'll just show you how to do this. If you have the add-on here for your members, you can click the export member results right here, and then you can pick you can unselect all fields here. Just select the email that you want, and so if you just unselect all those, let me type in email. Oh, sorry. That's the baseline, is user ID and email. So there you go. User ID and email, just you export that, and that gives you all your email lists, and then you can import it to whatever you want. And obviously you can filter out by the filter section, the members here first to get your list, and then export that. You could also, they also relatively recently have this the smart list that you can make as well. So if you have certain number of people, you can export and save a smart list so that you can kind of refine those exact same people later, and you won't have any issues, or you can export the exact same parameters, I guess, later. And so you can manually do that, export those, and use MailChimp or whatever, or you can set up have a developer set up an API, direct to one of those systems and use that. But that way you can use maybe a email marketing system that has a little higher deliverability rate, a higher opening rate, and use that for your marketing messages, and then leave the free transactional email stuff to the BD shared one. Okay, and so this one's about marketing automation. Again, there's no marketing automation functionality in there. I think they're going to develop that a little bit more. They started doing the billing reminders, where they send out follow-on billing reminders for everybody. And so I think they're going to start doing that more for now that they've made the smart list feature, where you can upload and do different marketing features with those smart lists. I think they're going to start adding some of that stuff in there a little bit more than they have in the past. Because obviously, that's, even if it's at a paid add-on, a lot of people, any business probably uses some sort of marketing email stuff. So if they can add more of that functionality in there and have other people not use other services or charge for it, I'm sure BD will probably do that. As Frank said earlier, if it makes sense for them to charge more for that and that everybody needs it, they're going to develop that just like they would in an app if everybody needed that and wanted to use it. All right, we've talked about this before as well for the directories, in that you can make the directory do pretty much anything that you want it to do, but it's really hard to make it do other stuff that it's not built to do. And so shopping, I think, is a great example of this. It's not a shopping cart. It doesn't have that functionality. So it's very expensive and a difficult integration if you want to make it into a shopping cart. So this question is, can you integrate a Shopify site with a directory? And every time somebody asks a question like this, there's a difference between integrating and putting it into the directory or I guess commingling it. So you always have the option, if you have whatever.com, you can always add shop.whatever.com in a subdomain and put your Shopify site there, or a WordPress site on a subdomain, and it looks like your domain is just a subdomain, and that may be suffice for you. What you cannot do is now Shopify is not a script, but you can't add WordPress or a forum or any other type of embeddable, downloadable code, infrastructure stuff like that into your BD site. They don't allow that. So you either have to have it on a subdomain, or you have to use some sort of embed feature, or have it linked from a link on yours where they click a link and then it opens to your Shopify site that has the same general template and look and feel that your BD site has, so it looks like it's the same site. So I think Yakin's probably question. He does have an e-commerce site on his that he can integrate into the directory, and so he does offer that. That's not Shopify. It's something that he has put together. So I want to show you that where that's out on the site again, just to kind of introduce this to people that don't know that we have products and services on there. Directorytoolkit.com. This is actually Yakin's e-commerce right here. If you go to the e-commerce button here in the newest product section, this is his option. He does have a built-in e-commerce for directory websites. You can add products, e-commerce or non-e-commerce options. You can have buy now and add to cart buttons. It basically uses a PayPal payment for every particular user that's on your site. So when somebody goes and subscribes to your site and they're selling their wares on your site, they get to add their particular PayPal, and then it basically takes care of inventory and sales and stuff and the history of the sellers and purchase history for your clients and your vendors directly on your Brilliant Directories website. So when they log in as a client on yours, they see all the different vendor services or products that they've bought, but it's on your site. And then the vendors can log into your BD site and see how many clients they've sold products to, and do inventory and order history and all that stuff right on your website. And so there's a demo video here if you guys want to watch that, but it comes at a cost. All right. This is fully supported and by him and his team, and it can do wonders. There's a lot of built-in stuff, but it's $3,500 a year. So just realize it comes at a cost. You can either do Shopify, and I don't know what Shopify costs, but I'm sure you can get a pretty decent yearly plan for $3,500 if you want Shopify. But again, if there's a reason you want branding, you want that built into a shopping stuff for your site, built into the BD as just integrated. That's where I would say integrated. That is available from some of the developers in the marketplace. But it always comes down to what do you mean by integrate? All right. Well, I'll go off Facebook for a while here. Mark, any other questions? Frank, I guess we got somebody new as well for Thiru in Canada there. I'm probably saying that way wrong, but jump in on the chat or the video if you have any other questions.
Hey, Ryan, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry, my next door neighbor is doing their lawn. Real quick question. I know Frank's commented about this. I was contemplating looking at BD blocks for editing. Yep. What are your thoughts on that to spice things up?
Yeah. So I'll talk really favorably, and Esteban, I want my account turned back on. No, I'm just joking. So let me go to BD blocks real quick, and I'll tell you what it is and what it is not. Now, Frank, yeah, you did a really as I pulled up there, Frank, I know you have some comments on it as well. Had some good words on it. Obviously, Esteban is very talented coder. He's put a lot of work into that. I'll kind of do a baseline for him on where he's at and where he's potentially going. But Frank, do you have any words here before while I'm pulling that up there from your vantage point, and then I'll talk about it.
Well, it's hard to talk about because everybody's situation is different. Mine has been, I haven't actually used it. I was given a lifetime membership because I helped him finance it when he got it off the ground. But he just has a tendency to disappear for short periods of time. And, you may not get an immediate response. I think if you use the right channel, maybe on Slack, you may get, but he doesn't use Facebook Messenger that much. So
right. So for those of you who don't know, I got the page up here, and it's funny that I actually put on your BD Blocks builder is here to stay. So what he basically he just the background he had some he was kind of trying to make a big company out of it, did the coding stuff, but just by nature he is a coder. And so he was kind of, I think, getting burned out by doing all the support stuff and dealing with that stuff. And he and rightfully so, he's a great coder. Just didn't want to have to necessarily deal with all the setup and work and all that stuff. So he kind of Project Pat is actually doing all the installs now, doing all the kind of running interference and leaving Esteban to do the coding in the back end, which he loves to do. So now Project Pat is doing the install for these. But what he kind of went a little bit of a direction. This kind of answers to Frank's point about what he was trying to do. Originally, he was trying to build everything for BD, and any coder would realize this. If it's not your own code, you kind of have to work around other people's stuff. And so he was building it for BD, and it works great for building up that stuff. But he wanted to kind of go a different direction and have an additional capacity in case. The BD structure changed or whatever, just for his own longevity. So kind of shifted a little bit in terms of making it so that his BD blocks also worked as a standalone builder. And that you don't actually need BD in order to utilize it. So I think it's a positive now as well, is that you don't necessarily have to feel like you're stuck on BD for the directory piece. If you're doing stuff with BD blocks, you can go utilize it for website design outside of BD in the future as well. So that's what he's kind of added in there. And so the other stuff that I'd say is he kind of focused on originally on the block stuff, but because everybody kept asking him, and I think he's more helpful than he probably should be at first. And it was a lot of plugins that he was trying to develop because everybody had a great idea, and he's a great coder, and he started making all these plugins for his developer thing that stacked on top of that, which increased the functionality, but also increased the amount of stuff that he had to support, and kind of stretched himself thin on the development side for all of those. So I think he kind of doubled down back on the BD blocks builder stuff. I think he's going to get back to some of those plugins and finish those up. But he's kind of really shifted focus back to the BD blocks. So it's just kind of a little bit of background, but it does enhance some of the pages, obviously, that make them look a lot better. And so for those of you who don't know what the actual system looks like, let me just show you what some of the pages look like. And he's posted some of these. I think Patrick has posted some of these recently, just to kind of show what it looks like. But I'm just going to show you some of the example images. So here's a theme, and again, he prices them per theme. So you can have you basically buy a page. Some of them have multiple pages or themes, but it's not like a WordPress theme where everything changes. It's basically per page. Like, so for example, when I say this is the Quasar theme, this is what your homepage could look like, but it's only the homepage, right? So if you don't buy some of the other pages and edit the code to make the other pages look any different, it's going to go back to the original BD look, because that page is not set up with the blocks, if that makes sense. So it's not a total wrap theme, perhaps. So that's one home page. Here's another one. This one's called the Pontiac. And again, just a little bit different layout and look from a normal BD site, and just has some different functionality and layouts, different card views, and how you look at that. But again, if you went into any particular page, it's going to look like the regular BD site unless you edit it. So for example, that's the home page. So this is another page. This would be a template page for the About Us page. And these are just pictures, but again, that would be the About Us. But if you didn't buy that page or edit that with the blocks, you can get there, but you have to design every page with the blocks. So it's not like a theme where all of a sudden you go to the About Us page and it looks like this. If you didn't pay or adapt the About Us page, it's going to look like the normal About Us page. So here's a how it works page. So again, it just has some of the back and forth elements on the About Us page. But it does have a listing search results theme. So and obviously this is some of the main points, the main page. And then if you have the About page or how it works page, you could just adapt that for any additional pages you have and just use that theme. Here's the search results listing and what that looks like for a potential one. Here's what that other quantum one looks like for the search results. This one's kind of a different look. So
Pages are very clean.
Yeah, they are very clean looking. It takes a little bit of finesse in the background in terms of how to make it look like that. It is drag and drop, but it still is. It's not totally drag and drop. So you kind of you drag and drop it in there, but there's still, you have to click on it and change some settings, and it's not totally code-ish, like where you got to code it. But there are some settings you have to get correct in order to work it. So I think the thing I've seen most of the time where people are asking questions in the support is when they can't make it do something, or it doesn't look like what they expect to do, and they're like, and then he has to go tell them, well, you got to open up that setting, and from that pull down, you got to pick for blah blah blah. And then they fix it and they're like, oh, okay, and then it fixes it. So there may be some back and forth on that, like with tweaking, but yeah. So I mean, in terms of so here's a profile page for this particular person. So that's obviously him. But so this would be a profile page. It's got the hero banner, but now the image of the person's up here. It's got the get directions, share, submit a review, favorites, report it, and send email. So those things that normally are in the buttons are now kind of across there. Map on the sidebar. It's got all the widget stuff on the side there with about the authors there, just a little reformatted. And then these are the specialties. It's just not in tabs. This one's in the overview, the posts. So it's kind of like the strip view if you add that for your directory. And then it's got the reviews in there. So anyway, just a little different look. That's that profile page, and then here's the quantum profile page. Kind of same thing, but now the data is over here instead of up on the top. It's just a hero image, and again, just now it's got the map down here instead of the sidebar. A little bit Gucci'd out review color settings, I think, in this one, because he does have a widget that does the reviews as well, and kind of switches those up a little bit. So anyway, and so I think these are, so it's $100 a year for the software, and then everything that you buy in there is add-on. I think you get some credits. He has these purchase stuff called iguana coins, where you have to buy the coins and then you use the coins to buy other stuff. So you pay to get an allotment of coins, and then everything costs money. So like this would be a certain number of iguana coins to get this template to be able to use that and download it. But for the I think for the entire theme package, whether this Pontiac, this is the quantum one, I think for all of the theme pages for the entire thing is about $1,000. So it's $950 for that theme is what he was charging. So that's on top of the $100 a year.
Gotcha.
Whoa, man.
But again, I mean, what's it worth? I mean, everybody always complains like it looks like another BD site. Well, How much is that worth to you? You want it to look like this? $1,000. It's yours for the rest of your directory time.
So, so here's my question, and I've posted this in the forum more than once. People, here's the statement people post. Every BD site looks exactly alike, and I don't want my site to look like everybody else's. And then my question is, well, how many BD sites has your clientele seen in their life other than yours? Probably none. So to me, that's a non-issue. Now, to make the sites look more like WordPress, which is what I think BD Blocks does, then you look like every other WordPress site.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, I'll throw this out there. These are all great, right? If I had $1,000, didn't want mine to look like a BD site quote, then you could do that. But again, he's got 2 or 3 good themes, right? So now instead of potentially looking totally, now everybody just looks like one of these themes.
Right.
I mean, so now use the same argument, like, well, that looks like all the other BD Blocks.
Yeah, but
sites.
again, how many people see them?
No, I know. I'm just saying if that can't be an argument, because you could use the same argument for these pages too.
Sure.
So now you just paid $1,000 to have it look like all the other BD Block sites. But again, it may be worth it if you want the clean look and you like this better than the other one. Then then that's probably worth it for you.
Right. I ask people. I say, has anybody listing on your site ever written to you and said, "Gee, your site looks like every other BD site. I don't think I want to be here because of that"? No.
Well, I've had people say that quote, everybody tells me that the directory looks old fashioned. Whatever that, or looks like a directory. I'm like, that's because it is a directory for one, but
yeah, that statement to me is meaningless. Old fashioned is a subjective term.
It's true.
It is. The green countertops are coming back.
Yeah, it means nothing. I don't understand people.
So, Mark, does that help out a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'd show you live if I could actually get in there. Hey, Frank, is yours turned on?
My what?
Did you get your BD Suite turned back on?
Well, he sent me everything to do it, but I haven't touched it.
Oh, you haven't done it. Okay. So he's pushed his updates on here, and so you'll need to log in. It'll look like this. It'll say BD Blocks Suite, and then you just log in with your password. So if mine was actually turned on, I'd show you, but I'm locked out. So
thank you.
Yep. And it is for the most part drag and drop, or it has a bunch of different templates. And let me actually just go back to the website because I think it's actually on here. Templates. So it says 300 directories. That's quite a bit. So it looks like he's adapted this one. I'm trying to show you what it looks like in terms of the feature set here. Just to kind of show you what the sidebar. Oh, well, this is new. So he does have a reseller account, 10 free templates, template marketplace, white labeled solution, and a private marketplace. I don't know what that means. $10,000 lifetime. All right, Frank, give me $5,000. We'll go in on that $10,000 lifetime. It's like he stepped up his game there. 10,000. All right. So it looks like he has a lifetime now as well. And you get 10 free templates. So I take that back. That's actually a better deal. So I said $950. That's what he originally quoted in the, or at least Patrick did in the thing. So there's only 10 pages on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's only 10 or 11 on the particular theme that he was selling anyway. So if you get 10 free templates, and then you can make your own, it was $950 anyway. That's a lifetime for a professional account, you get those 10 templates. I think that's how it would work anyway. So that's even better deal, because then you don't have to pay the $100 a year. It's just kind of yours. So that's probably a better proposition the way he has it set up there. But I'll ask him. I'm going to ask him what that reseller account is, and I know he has that. That looks fairly new. I'm interested. I don't know what the private marketplace is. Obviously, so the other thing it's set up on there. If you are a developer, if you have somebody develop it for you, you can actually add the template to a marketplace. And so, in theory, this is going to be a better product in the future than it is now, because people make those new templates, and then it'll be an expanding marketplace where everybody keeps adding the templates, and then you can get money back for the templates that you throw on there. But you can also buy more templates, so it kind of expands out over time. So hopefully he gets this going good, and that starts to multiply, and everybody has more availability for templates, and it's not those two main ones that only he is developing himself. I'm not sure what the private marketplace is. That may be the one where you can't sell the ones you develop unless you I have the reseller, but I don't see. It used to have the kind of show what the little blocks look like in terms of the back end stuff. I don't see that anymore. But go there, bdblocks.com. You can browse around there and see how it works.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know if this is like the default stuff, or if that's actually a language. I'm terrible with language. So. Although that looks general. All right. All right, so sorry, I just saw us on share because I was sharing everything. Thiru, or again, I know I apologize for butchering in there. He says, looking for a way to import listing from PHP My Directory. Is there any module?
You
So
can export out of that as a CSV.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So the PHP My Directory. So if you guys go into, just hit the MySQL database. So I'm assuming this is what he's talking about, the PHP My Admin here. When you have, this is your backend database. So if you have it on another site where on the PHP My Admin, you want to export the tables, you can do export, any of the tables that you want. And then you can import it into the BD system. So let me just show you where that's at on the BD site here real quick. If you guys go to the BD Support Center and just type in CSV, how to import members via a CSV file, and I'll just paste this into the chat for anybody here, so you guys can get that. But if you go there, in here it has a bunch of the example files. So just click the example of a complete import file with all the fields. Just kind of download that, and then you can kind of see what's in that particular CSV. And then all you'll need to do is basically format whatever you were exporting the data in, and put it in the right columns with the right header. So if it if your old account had a first name, but it was first dash name, in BD, that the column is titled with first underscore name. And so just make sure that you're using that template from BD here, add the right column header title at the top, and then just paste in all that, data in that column. And so just do that for every column you have. And then once you have all the data, all you need to do is go into the members, just click the members tab there, and then it'll be right here, import members. And then when you do that, there's a couple, I'll just walk through the options here for everybody. There's also a view import guide, which we were just at there, and you can assign a certain membership plan. I'd always recommend making an upload hold group, and that's just because you can separate them from your live members, especially if you're live. already, and you can kind of just have them in a holding tank until you know that they're good, and then you can move them over to another membership plan once they're ready, or make sure that they're imported properly. Then the reason for that is because if it didn't, you can just go search by that membership group and then delete everybody in that category, because you know that's just the people you just uploaded. It's not commingled, because if you add it to one of your other memberships, it's just all stuck together. Now you can parse them out by date uploaded and all that stuff, but there's a potential where if you uploaded it yesterday and somebody signed up, now you're intermixing somebody who just signed up yesterday with the other deletion date, and they're overlapped, and so it gets very messy, and you end up deleting people that are legitimate. So I'd always make that upload hold group, import them there, and then you can move them after that. If you want them live on the site, you can set them as active member or non-active. Again, I'm always putting it in a hold group, so I just leave it as active member, leave it there. If the email exists, allow multiple accounts. I always check that, because if they're already in your database, potentially maybe you still want that data uploaded, because you're gonna make that the default one. If for some reason you're uploading stuff and you think you already have a third or a handful of those are already in there, and there's going to be a conflict, that's if you know you have the right email, right? That's a good way to not make duplicates, to uncheck that. And then be very careful
Hey,
about
Brian.
this. Yes.
Yeah, are you trying to share your screen? I don't see it. Oh, there we go.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Well, hopefully, at least you guys were listening there. This is what we just talked about. The upload hold group, set as an active member. That's the email thing I just talked about. And then the create a new member category, be very careful about that, because if you have the services column, it'll make all the categories for you and throw them in there. So depending if you don't already have them in there as a subcategory, and when you do that, it'll just start throwing in a bunch of top level categories, and you may have to go delete those after the fact. And again, if you already have your category set up, they can get very disruptive. So I usually leave that unchecked so you don't create that. And again, if you want to add them to categories from the upload, then you can still do that. Just go add the categories first, and then again, you still don't have to have that checked if that's in that subcategory column. Basically, it'll automatically parse those in there, whether that's checked or not. So I would normally not ever check that. And then all you do is then you just choose the file, upload it, and it'll do a data check. It has to be a CSV, not XLS, and then you can just import the file. So.
Also, does it say something about you don't have to upload empty columns? Is that correct?
Oh, is it still not sharing my screen?
Yeah, I'm still not.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I switched to the thing and it wasn't sharing. Okay, so there we go. We'll do this again. Upload hold group. Always do that. Set as active member. Normally do that. We talked about you normally never check that. Create new members. You can do that if you check that if you don't want duplicates. Do that if you just want to make sure they all get in there, and you can choose the one later. And then we talked about CSV, not XLS. So what were we saying, Mark?
I was going to say, didn't I mention somewhere you don't need to upload like empty columns, like from your CSV file. If there are columns that are empty, I guess BD says don't upload empty columns. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No data.
So let me pull this up real quick. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So the question Mark was asking is, so for if you don't have all these in your list,
Right.
So for example, let's say you don't have any LinkedIn, your entire column's blank. You don't have any Facebook. So these you don't have any Twitter. I'm just trying to get these so it a website. There we go. Just so they show up empty. So if you don't have any in your column there, just to save time, you can delete those columns, and it's not going to screw it up. It doesn't matter what order it's in.
Yeah.
If it's only going off from that in uploading that in its column. So you could literally not have a bunch of these, and it'll import fine. So it just, if you delete that, it just speeds it up a little bit, because it's not having to go Nope, nothing there. Nope, nothing there. Nothing there.
Mhm.
Nothing there. It just saves time. So
Yeah.
these are the ones that you need to have in there by default. You must have the listing type. It needs to say company or individual. That is required. You need to have, and it's on the far side here, you need to have the professional service or profession name, because that is the top level category. And then you also need to have the country code, I think, for some reason. So that country code needs to have that, and it's on that website. It's on the description on how to do it. But there's like 3 items that you have to have. And then again, if you're all in the U.S., you could just grab that and drag all the way down. Just use that for everybody. Normally, if it's all companies, they're all company, right? And then, so those are the 3 I think that you have to have at a minimum, just so it can parse it in there properly. And then just something else some people don't realize either, you can have other fields other than this. So for example, I would always make the fields first if you have data in your stuff, but don't put it into your site, it's not going to upload it. So for example, if you have not awards, let's say you have I guess like specials. So let's just call it, like, say you have a column of weekly specials, and so it's titled specials. Now, if you upload it with that, the database is going to go there like, I don't know what that is, and it's just not going to do anything. And so you're going to kind of lose that data. So you can go into the form and make a field with that variable name, and label it specials. And so let me go in there and just kind of show you what that would look like. If you go into let me go into Form Manager, and you're going to want to go to the contact. It doesn't really matter which one it is. Let's say it's contact. Let's say that's additional members, because that's kind of where that would be specials. If you add a new field and call it specials, right, that variable name, that's what that column name is. So when you see experience or quote, awards, that's what we're just looking at. That system variable is what's at the top of here. And so if you add a new form and save it, and that's the variable specials, now when you add the data, it's going to say, oh, I've got specials in my database. I'm going to import and load that into all those different variables. And so just as a reminder, if you're uploading, you've already got forms filled out, you've added a bunch of stuff in here for your particular listing settings, just go grab all that. Say this is hours of operation. That's rep matters. I don't know why they use that variable. It should say hours, but that's what I normally change it to. But rep matters, that's not in here. Just go add a column and paste in rep matters. Now you have the hours column, and now this is 11 to 5 and 1 to 2. And so now, obviously, you want to format it not as a date, but you get the idea.
Oh, Ryan, what is the proper format for, Monday 8 to 5 or Tuesday? Is it just separated by commas, basically?
No, it's just a text value. So it'd be Monday 8 to 5, right? Like that.
How about Tuesday? How does that?
Well, again, this is just a free text thing. So if you say Tuesday 12 to 6, right? Okay. This would just be formatted as a text. So when you're in here and you say, hey, this is specials, you say this is a text input, single line, okay. Right? If you have it as a checkbox select, now let's say you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. These are now going to be check boxes, but now this needs to just say Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Like these need to be in the options, right? So when it uploads, it picks the right one. So just format. That's the variable. That's the top one, and then just make sure that matches whatever this is. If that needs to have all that. So again, if this has Friday, and that's not an option, that when it gets to that person, it's not going to have anything in the database, because there's nothing. It wouldn't find Friday. It doesn't know what to do. It just leaves it blank. So that just needs to match. But you could do that. Set all your Excel up ahead of time, and now when you import it, it's just automatically going to pull in all your special fields that you added in there. So either you have them in here already, you add it into here to be able to put the data, or you have data and then you need to make whatever you want to call that column rep matters. You need to go add that in here as a system variable so it knows where to put it. So one or the other.
Right. Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right. So again, in the last question on the Facebook today, let's get to you. It says when you're throwing all the bells and whistles into the in the kitchen sink, you do everything at first, or do you do it a little bit at a time? So we've talked about this before. I'd always recommend doing a little bit at a time so you can A, handle it, B, be able to explain stuff to your customers in a coherent manner. And then for the third reason is that you got to have something to hold in reserve. I equate it to, let's say a football player, or let's say a basketball player, since we're in a basketball season, I guess right now, that's starting back up. If you have a signature spin move or a signature dribble, right? You could save it if it's a close game. Save it for the last game-winning I need to score kind of thing, right? Or you're playing with somebody, a horse on the playground. You kind of hold it to the end. You got something special. You don't show everything up front. I kind of equate that to the same thing for the businesses. BD has a lot of functionality, but the clients don't know that it's already developed or already launched or whatever. So kind of if you slow roll it, then you can release it as a quote new feature or a upgraded enhancement that you've added in the last month. And then every one of those touch points, instead of throwing everything out there at the beginning with them and just saying, blah, here's 10 things we do. And they're like, 1, 2, 3, all 10. Okay, great. And then there's nothing for the next year that you're adding. They're like, well, there's nothing changed on your, and then they forget about the 10 things. But if you like, hey, we have these 3 things, and they're like, oh, that's pretty good. Those 3 things, that's impressive. And then they're either a client or they're not. And then next month you're like, boom, here's number 4. We also added this, and like, oh, great, you also do videos. And then the next month they're like, boom, number 5, we also do classified ads. And they're like, oh, wow, classified ads too. And so it doesn't have to be a post type. You can turn another feature on later too. But if you keep I call it the drip method, right? You just drip that out a little bit at a time. You get another opportunity to go tell everybody how good of a service you are, or tell them about something that's new. It gives you a reason to contact them and a reason for them to listen. So. And then, Frank, thanks for the shout out there. Another question just went live is there a way to allow directory visitors to suggest a new category? And that'll be our first subject for the next meeting. I'll talk about that. It's a little bit too much for today. We'll talk about that next time.
You notice how diplomatic I was.
Yeah, but you put me second.
That was being extra diplomatic because I always put you first.
That's true. That's true.
I usually put you only. So.
But see, you could have just gone with the alphabetical. Actually, it is. It's alphabetical by last name. There you go.
True.
It's not alphabetical by first name. So we'll go over that.
I'm getting a bigger kickback from Yakin. So.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I put him first.
Well, I need to go talk to him because he promised everybody that if you're watching, Yakin, that you would provide that code to everybody for the directory, but the category suggest, but we haven't set that up. So let's get that done. We'll get that out to everybody, or at least the people. I can't remember who was on that call, but
that was a very busy call. There were a lot of people on that call, and he did promise. So the last thing I'll mention today, and I'll try to, and this is taking me a little bit longer to do this because we have, especially for these kind of
big calls where I'm kind of jumping around with subjects. I'm trying to break it down into individual videos for a particular subject in case anybody does not know that. So if you guys go to the directorytoolkit.com and the newest videos and just click view all, maybe a better way to see it. But every one of these little topic sets that we talked about on the webinar, I'm trying to put in here. Actually, let me go to directory videos because I haven't put them all in directory toolkit. So directoryvideos.com. And I can't spell directory. I'll put these all on the website as well. But if you go to directoryvideos.com, it just goes to my YouTube channel. But what I'm trying to do is break down all these videos into, and I'm not sharing my screen again, man. Am I? See? Mark, I will get this correct after about 50 attempts. There we go. directoryvideo.com. Go there, and I'm trying to break down all these videos into the webinars into their own subjects. So this is what we talked about last week of creating the tag clouds using CSS and the menu feature, and then how to use the image sizing to enhance your posts on Facebook that Scott went over. So these are kind of a little bit shorter videos. Instead of the 2 hours, we got the 30 minutes on my tag cloud, and then Scott's tutelage for 45 minutes on the Facebook.
It's kind of like you kind of get to the meat of the matter, doing it that way.
Right. That doesn't mean you don't come back next week, though, Mark.
No.
I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking. But yeah, feel free to do that for anybody watching, though, for the replays, right? You can watch all the stuff in succinct, but I'm trying to break it down as much as I can into these videos. And then this was how to alter the presentation of the phone number data on your profile pages that we went over as well. So those 3 things from the last webinar. And this one's probably going to have 3 or 4 that'll have to get done and post to those various people or whatever. But
I appreciate that.
Just throwing that out there. And it will be on the directory toolkit as well. All right. Anything else before I sign off here?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Thanks for all the info.
Yeah, so again, I'll stop the recording again for everybody here. Just thank you for showing up. Again, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe or give us some comments in here. If you're on the Directory Toolkit, leave some comments down below in the Facebook comments. I'll probably get to that in one of these webinars as well, how to do the Facebook comments. That's been a hot item for people, adding that for people so people can comment on things, but please add a comment below on that as well if you can, watching Directory Toolkit. Otherwise, we'll meet back next week for the Directory Toolkit. So.